Today is a special edition episode. It's called The Remarkable Moments of the Biographies of Greatness. And I have a very special panel of guests, Kiki, Fab, Satomi, and Shawni, who are sharing their insights and the moments that have been the most eye-opening while they were listening to the different conversations on the Biographies of Greatness. We don't know how this new idea is gonna go. This is the first time we're testing it. Enjoy it, laugh with us, cry with us, get shocked with us. This is an amazing episode. I had so much fun and I was deeply touched by all of the different experiences and sharings from all of these remarkable women that joined us in this panel today. Please do comment which episode has resonated with you the most, which remarkable moment you've had while in the process of listening to these conversations. Please comment with specific details rather than just liking it. Let me know what's speaking to you. Please, as usual, don't forget to share, like, comment, subscribe, and follow on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, Amazon Music, on social media. Connect with me through all of the different channels. Thank you so much. I am so appreciative of your time and your words. Continue to communicate with me so that I continue to give you more and more and more. Okay? Thank you so much and enjoy this special edition, Remarkable Moments of Biographies of Greatness. Welcome to the Happy Beyond Fed podcast with Maria MJ Browning, former artistic swimmer from Colombia turned into a lifestyle entrepreneur. Shawni, were you able to narrow down your list to only 2 moments that were the most remarkable for you?
2.5. Because we're women. Like 2. No, there's so many. There's so many. First and foremost, one of the things that I had discovered about a number of the people who you have interviewed was that their rise or success or prosperity and the number of blessings that they have received inside of this world were not things that they were striving for. A lot of them, I mean, it's so interesting to hear some of their stories. And for example, with Zumba, I can think of probably 2 who didn't even care for Zumba too much. They were not interested in Zumba at all, and their mothers got them
Do you
involved.
remember? Can you please say their names if you remember them?
The brothers twins. Let's start there. And then I think also, if I recall, I think Morgan Brown. If I remember their stories correctly, these individuals, these wonderful, my beautiful colleagues, they were like, whatever, just this thing. Fine, okay. And then fast forward 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years later, we're like, wow. And so the reason those stories stand out so much, because to me, it's just a gentle reminder to me and to anyone else who's quote unquote striving for a goal per se. It's like sometimes just like let things go, like do your thing. Be who you are. Whatever you're into or whatever you're doing, do the thing, but let the universe, let God, let the angels, however you believe, whatever you believe in, let the things come to you. I feel like it's better when you let things come to you rather than I'm trying to chase this thing. I want this thing to see me. I want to make this thing happen. Because a lot of my colleagues didn't make anything happen. Now, this is not to discount their natural gifts and talents and the hard work that they are doing to maintain what they have received. It's just to say that in the beginning, sometimes we got to take our hands off and let the universe, let God, let the angels, let the thing come to us.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Do you think that it was easier for Morgan and the brother twins to just let it happen because they were younger? because the twins started when they were kids. Morgan, she's been a dancer all her life, and one thing led to another and another and another. But as a kid, because when I was in the conversation with her, and as I was asking her, how's business? How do you plan your life and finances? And she was like, what? Like, no, like her mind was not there because she has not premeditated anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I wonder if it's an age thing. It's a harder thing for us as adults to just let go and let it happen.
And so that's a great point that you make, because I do have to say that I resonate with that. I do agree in a way, because when you're young and you have no responsibility, not no responsibility, of course, you know, if you're married or if you are taking care of a home, you have bills. But like if you're just like kind of young and free, you are more open. You are not like jaded by life. You're not rigid. You know, when the opportunities come, you're more likely to be like, oh, okay, let's see, let's try. As opposed to when you're a little bit older, you're like, wait, let me count up the cost and do all the math. And while you're counting up the cost and doing all the math, you're likely wasting a lot of time and watching opportunities like pass you by, because you have analysis paralysis trying to figure out.
Just the energy investment on you guys preparing to show up today with some good answers, right? That's energy that it took for you to prepare, to get ready, to look pretty, to the setting. The conversation with the brother twins, these dudes were just arriving from who knows where, and they're like, we're opening the door, and then they open the computer, and as you can see in both conversations, only one is starting the conversation, then later on the other one comes, because they're still like changing and eating, and then one stands up. Like, it's not that they're not taking it seriously, but I obviously noticed how relaxed they were. I was like, these guys don't stress about anything. And we go through life stressing so much. We think, oh, this is podcast. This is going to be in the public. We better look good and say the right thing. They don't care. When we finished the first conversation and they were like, oh, okay, no. So tomorrow they contact me the next day and they're like, we just landed in Texas and we're driving through traffic in Houston to a concert. So yeah, let's do it. We can just do it on the phone in the Uber. They were gonna do it in an Uber. I was like, wait, what? I cannot handle this chillness.
See, they're not trying.
Such a lesson.
They're
Yes.
not trying. And I think there's just something to be said for that. For, you know, just I see like a lot of my colleagues and my peers, and just, you know, and especially like those who are 10, 15 years younger than me. I'm like, oh my God, they're just in flow. They're in flow because they are free. They hadn't thought about it so much. Now they have learned with proper mentorship and guidance, because I think that's another piece. You have to have the right people around you and in your ear, giving you little direction, telling you where to go, how to move, and you have to listen to them and kind of do what they say, and then be consistent in your work in order to maintain the blessing. But in the beginning, they're just like, da da da. I'm just out here, I'm just doing my thing, whatever, whatever. And all of us
But
more.
the real question is, girls, how do we make this happen? How do we go back into that flow? And is it even possible at this age?
Yes.
I don't know that I don't know that we go back into the flow, because in order to go back, you have to be intentional about it. And my whole point is there's not a whole lot of intentionality per se with a lot of the growth and success that I am seeing, especially with younger people, because they don't have all the cares of the world. And I think perhaps one of the ways to get back to the freedom and the, you know, care. I mean, we can say all of the obvious things: get quiet, meditate, go journal, pray, you know, all these things have their place. But the real suggestion is you got to get rid of all them people in your house. You got to tell that husband to go cook for himself. You got to get rid of these kids. It's too many. It's too many people around and in your ear distracting you from your peace.
You are absolutely right. Because now that I am alone at home, it's easier to relax.
Look at you being a rock star. Okay. Listen, y'all see her underwater with the weights?
Well, Satomi was filming and was under the water with me, drinking water while I was doing weights.
Listen, she is like a bird flying free with her podcast. She's getting ready. Listen, we getting ready to
You're
see
in the
another
flow.
program with weights in the water in a minute. It won't
That's
be
right.
actual weights, but she's gonna bring the
Call me
booze.
MJ. That's the new me.
I'm just saying. It's just what it is I just feel like, we get constricted with all of our responsibility and so many people in
Yes.
our ear and pulling on us. And I think
You started with the wrap up and you haven't even shared your remarkable moments. This was just that you noticing in general that many of the colleagues have been able to be more in a state of flow and
that's
chillness,
one
right?
of my takeaways.
That's one of your takeaways. Okay. So let's go with Fab.
Yeah.
One of your takeaways?
Well, that flow that you speak of, and I do see it in some of the younger people. And I think, what is it that they're doing? Like, we overthink. Like, I'm in my 50s now. So like, I overthink. And so I decided a couple years ago, I guess when I was turning 50, that I was just going to start saying yes. And so if there's any opportunity or somebody, asking me to do something, yes. And then figure it out after, right? I guess one of mine was Medelle's. She wakes up in the morning and it's like, what can I say yes to today, Medelle, right? That's what it is for me. What can I say yes to? And I said yes to an opportunity. It was just before I took my Aqua Zumba to take students to Cuba. I was contacted and I said, yes. I didn't know I was, struggling with my weight. I had an injured knee. I didn't know how I was going to make this happen, but I said yes. And I went and I did it. I took the students and I got to see Aqua Zumba, the vacation Aqua Zumba.
Huh?
A little bit different.
That version of it.
But there's bits in there that I was like, oh, I really like that. And I came back so inspired. And I took my Aqua Zumba with you, Maria. And I remember I was still injured. I had a knee brace on and I took it in my living room and I just fell in love with it. I didn't know how I was going to do this. And it's been like a year, and it's only recently that I was contacted to do some subbing, and I said yes. Haven't put it together, the class or anything.
And you listened to Madelle's episode, and she was sharing the saying yes. Was this before you had made your decision to say more yes in your life, or after, and then you saw this as a mirror of what you were going through as well?
Yes, I had already started saying yes. And when I was listening to her, I thought, oh my goodness, that's how I've been living my life lately, is saying yes. And it just felt like I was on the right track. Just it affirmed things for me.
Because that's one of the things that I am curious about, your remarkable moments for all of you. Because as I was writing down mine, and I shared this before you joined us, Shawni, that many of the special episodes to me are because I can see myself in their mirror, kind of like what Fab just went through with Madelle's episode. But that is different than other episodes that have changed my behavior. So I was trying to differentiate. So this is beautiful that Fab just shared, because for the listeners, understand that it's not that you like some episodes more than others. It's just that some are a more clear image of you in that mirror. And then it gives you like the confirmation that you're on the right path, like Fab just shared. Beautiful. Okay, Kiki, share with us one of your remarkable moments.
Yeah, I had like a 2.5. Not like I didn't like all of them, but Luzma Herrera, oh my goodness, how inspirational she is. I didn't know much about her at all, other than when she was one of the presenters in that beautiful volume. But I aspired to be that positive. I aspired to, when she said that it's not only like the manifestations and we all like here in the manifestation and all this good stuff. That is absolutely true. I think you have to manifest what you want for yourself, see yourself already accomplishing it, or have a roadmap, giving yourself grace and flexibility to be able to like accommodate the little turns in life to get to your goal. But what I think I understood from her and she applied it beautifully in her life, is even facing very devastating circumstances, like it's a cancer diagnosis for one of your children, her outlook was never like, we're not going to beat this. We're going to find a way to beat this, and we are going to do it. And as a mom, I'm a mom of 3 young sons. I mean, young meaning like young adults. I'm on my 50s as well. So I cannot imagine. I think my default state of mind would be, and I know this, and I try to I'm very aware of it. I'm very self-aware, but I need to change that. First, I kind of like, it's a tragedy. It's chaos. It's like, oh my goodness, not poor me, but like, oh my God, extreme sadness and anxiety. And then the rational me and the smart me, if I may, it goes to, we can handle this with organization. We like proactively doing the stuff that we had to do to face this challenge as something that we can accomplish. Knowing that we don't know tomorrow, and a diagnosis of cancer is so individual, because even the same cancer by name is different on each individual, because everybody's genetic is different. But the outlook that she had in her own life when she explained about her mom-in-law being kidnapped, I'm like, dude, like half of us will be like half dead with all those 2 things. Right? Like, especially a child of yours. Like, and that remind me of a good friend of mine. She's in the fitness industry too, and I'm going to start actually working a second job with her at a gym. How she lost 2 husbands, and then she got a very aggressive cancer diagnosis, and she beat it. Of course she did. So it's this type of woman, this type of energy that I am drawn to. Like, I get so inspired because it reminds me that then, and ties up with my other one, which is Betsy Zopico's episode. Like, the certainty in life is like, there's going to be chaos, and we have to prepare ourselves on the daily on how do we going to navigate the chaos, because we don't want everyday chaos to take us away, right? Like, okay, I'm done now. No, like, so I'm trying to lower my threshold of, okay, I'm not gonna get to that anxiety level that I get before I started being efficient. This is what I'm trying to get at. I am efficient because I have overcome many obstacles in life, and very difficult ones, but there's no need to go through that suffering at the beginning that I know I put myself by, like, reacting like, oh my God, the end of the world, like very sad, very depressed, very, that's a default. I'm trying to, like, don't go there, and try to kind of skip that part as much as possible, and getting into the, okay, so we need to, like, deal with this. This is a reality, and how we deal with it in a positive way, even if the situation is bad, because sometimes stuff happens and we didn't really attract it to it. Just parents can get sick, our kids can get sick, our pets can get sick, and we can't control everything. And that anxiety, that having to have control over everything, is a killer. Like, we can't be defaulted into like defense mode all the time. So those were my aha moments. And another one tied up into that was, I still want to find a place and try it. When you connected, Maria, that was beautiful. Like, your cold plunge into lowering those responses. It's like, that makes sense, because you're tolerating more, right? Something very uncomfortable. And I'm gonna say, I'm the worst. I'm the a chicken for cold water, like, extremely. Like, I've been trying. I made an appointment and didn't go to do my cold plunge. That's how chicken I am.
You have to come visit me and I'll guide you through it and you'll love it. Right, Satomi?
Mhm.
I make you
Yes,
enjoy the
yes.
experience, baby. So, Kiki, this is clearly something you've been trying to work on yourself to stop the reactions towards the different events of life and to choose mindfully better reactions. So that's why you're noticing the episodes that display this, like, in a very strong sense, right?
Yes.
I agree. Luzma listens to every single episode of the podcast. I should have invited her to come here today because she will have a lot to say. And then I kept thinking I want to have her as a guest, but I kept delaying it because it's hard for me, same as you just said it, like to think that your child is going to have cancer. Like I was looking at myself in that mirror even before I invited her, and I was like, this is going to be so hard for me, like to put myself in her shoes. But then she was the one who asked me, she's like, hey, when are you going to invite me? And I was like, to be honest, I don't think I'm prepared as a mother to like listen what you went through. And she was like, no, it's beautiful. Please do let me share it. And then listening to the way she has never entertained the idea of this is going to go bad. And I kept asking her, I was like, but like, didn't it cross your mind? Didn't you cry? Didn't you this? And she was like, no, not at all. Like I knew we were going to get through this. It's like very mind blowing, right? Especially for Kiki. I am like you, like I have had to work on not reacting and not making situations bigger than what they are. So yeah, I agree 100%. I love her episode was very eye opening that there's some people that are naturally stronger at that. I know because it's a
Real for
lot to
me.
take.
It was like, is she for real? Like, are there people that you can be like that naturally defaulting to that level of the positivity? I totally love that. So it's something totally inspiring to me. And I can only aspire to be, trying to move more in my natural reaction more towards that way. Because you know what? At the end of the day, the way we see the world is the stuff that happens and how we react to it. You know how people say, oh, no, but you did this and that. No, like a person behaves the way they behave towards or with us. And then we do the rest, how we react to that other person's. And I had to find that out the hard way, Like it's not like a person deliberately sometimes try or a partner try to hurt you that way. It's just like they had those issues and they're going to behave like that no matter who the partner was. So it's not something that you created. And lowering that, like my reaction need to be healthy. I started to trying to do a better job at that. Like my reaction in general to other people's stuff that happen in general around me had to be healthier, so I can go past that. It's not leaving people behind more than is so I can be a healthier person emotionally, right? So I don't have to be overcoming crises left and right, because that's not the way to live life. Like overcoming crises every other week. No. So, and in general, I don't
Yes.
think people do. I mean, you might have somebody in your life that wants to actually do damage to you, but I don't think in general that is the case. I think it is like you live life and you encounter situations, and 50% of it is how you react to it. So I'm trying to do my part in reacting better. That's it, more positive. And you have many of these episodes, like you said, with Betsy, with yourself, with Luzma, that exactly touch on that. And that's what I've been drawn to.
So it's been helping you to see that is doable.
It is
That there are more
doable.
examples. Okay. Love it. Thank you for sharing. Please, as usual, don't forget to share, like, comment, subscribe, and follow on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music, Amazon Music, on social media. Connect with me through all of the different channels. This is really helping me to have my internal insights, for me to understand who follows this podcast, which kind of things you like to get from these conversations. So please do help me. This is just the beginning of it, and you've been supporting me from day one. Thank you so much. I am so appreciative of your time and your words and your time to like and subscribe. Continue to communicate with me so that I continue to give you more and more and more. Thank you so much, and enjoy this special edition. Satomi, remarkable moment.
So that was a really interesting things. I loved everybody's. I was saying the same thing when I was trying to narrow it down. Many of them, that there's a parts that I can mirror or relate. And it was almost surprised. I'm like, what? You felt that same thing that I did? And almost every single person had that somewhat in common, and which is kind of make it more relatable and more in tune to listen to. And then I also think about like, what behavior did I change after I listened to it? I can go a lot, but
Go
I'm
for
gonna
it.
narrow it down. um so since we were talking about like how we are reacting responses with Kiki, I'm gonna kind of co-join it. For me, when I felt like, oh, how am I gonna say it from now on, was Marley's, when she shared her personal journey of creating a family to how many time that she has not gone through successfully. And then when she shared those news, the people's responses like, I am so sorry you have going through this hard time, or you'll get it to this. Like, we tend to trying to comfort other people without really sit through it and show the compassion. And that's something I even noticed myself, like, I want to help that person. I want to help them feel ease that pain, but instead, like, just sit through it and be there. And sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know what to say. Like, super be honest and like, I don't know what to say, and just shut my mouth. Like, really shut my mouth up, open to listening to what they have to say.
Did
And
you
that's
guys,
all
the
we
rest
need.
of you, did you guys listen to Marley's episode? Because I know it was one of the longest ever. It was almost like up there with Ronnie's, 3 hour
Oh,
and something.
fun.
So did you guys listen to it? I would understand if you didn't. Because it's like
I
3 hours.
Okay, so
started
yes,
it. I still need to.
we yes, and that's the thing. We were listening to it like almost every 30-minute segment, because we were listening to when we were on a road trip, and then we kind of paused. I'm like, wait, we talked about those things, but that was something that I changed. So showing the compassion. So for me, I'm still working on it, because in my mind, if I have somebody to struggle, my natural instinct, like, oh, I want to help them. How can I show up for them? Like, we rush through that. How can I be there for them? But I am really practicing, like, oh wow, just take it as a news, and oh wow, and just like, hey, I want to send you a hug,
And
and
it
that's
makes you
it. Like, my word.
realize, Fab,
Yeah.
since you haven't listened to this episode, we were talking about grief. And when a person is going through grief, what everybody says to that person. Everybody comes in autopilot to say to you, I'm sorry about your loss. Or to try to make you feel better. But in reality, and we all do it. That, and Satomi, I am with you. This part of Marley's episode is one of the ones that changed me as well, because it makes you realize how we just want to feel good about ourselves by saying something to a person that's going through grief. We're not doing it for them. We're doing it for us. So we're like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm going to pray for you. I'm here for you if you need me. But we're trying to make ourselves feel good. And that's not what the person needs. It's like so mind blowing. And I am with you, Satomi. Ever since I say to a person that has lost somebody, I just said, I am speechless. I'm just sending you love. That's it. Because I really don't know what to say anymore. There's no right words. Like, how do you show
I
up for a
know.
person like that? And then the other thing
Right.
is like, I'm here if you need me. Like, what? So we're putting more work on them. So they are the ones who have to decide if they need you. So then they reach out to you. It's like, no, like whatever you say is not going to be appropriate. That's the conclusion of the whole
Yeah.
conversation. Just don't say
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yes. And I agree, because when I went through, when I share some of the things I went through, the hard time, and I personally don't share so much about it. Like Maria, like 5 years later, I'm telling you what happened. You'd be like, what? But because of that, I'm like, let me know, what can I do for you? Let me know if you need a help. So I'm like, do you think that I would really let you know? Like, it's hard for an independent person to say like, hey, hello. So that is not a right thing to say. I really realize that. And so I just decided, and then when we were listening to the episode, you lost your
My
sweet
dog. We went on a trip together
dog.
in Utah, and I lost my dog, and we were listening to that
Link to that
episode, to that
episode.
part.
And we were all like, couldn't say a word.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry
It
I'm
was
laughing,
like
but
practice time
we
immediately.
were like practice time, real time. We all like stood there and like don't even know what to say, but it was a good thing. And then you also says like, okay, everybody, just give me a hug. I know you want to say something, and I know you're practicing. Just give me. I'm like, thank you so much. But it was that was a huge wake up call. Like, see, I internal myself. Like, see, I was trying to find so much in my head. I'm like, and then I have to literally tell myself, stop, Satomi, stop, and pause, and just sit through it. So that was a really wake up call for me, and that even now. So instead of just stop saying anything, I also incorporate that from how can I take it further from here? It's not just like, okay, from now on, when I hear something, people having a hard time, I will do that. I will practice to just really be honest and not be able to say, I don't know what to say. Oh, wow. I really want to, I'm sending my love. I'm giving you my big hugs. That's it. That's all I could say. But at the same time, I wanted to see, okay, then what else can I do? What can I do? So one thing I also incorporate was try to say something if I notice good things. And that's the part you need to say it. And me being an introvert naturally, or I'm a half and half. I'm like a borderline introvert, I think, in my personality. We hesitated to say something that's we seeing good, no matter who they are, whether they are famous or whether they're not. I don't know what the quote and famous could be, or well known in the community, maybe. You think that they heard it enough all the time, but I realize that they don't. They don't hear anything back. But any little things that I found that they're that person that I see they're doing good, I have started to reach out and say, "Hey, I like what you did." Just a one specific thing, just let them know. Either sometime it could be your virtual messages, sometime it could be I have the opportunity to say it in her face. And I started to practice that more because you never know what they needed. Maybe I can't say a comfort word to other people when they're going through a hard time, but what I can do is when I find something that's beauty in them, even the simple thing, hey, I love your hair the way you look, or hey, that this routine that I learned from you was just perfect, or
I
any
I
little
love that
thing.
you're saying this because I was actually thinking about it last week. You and I are like connected, baby. I was thinking, wow, it's so surprising that it's not that you're addicted to compliments or that some compliments you discard and you still need to hear it from other people. It's just that we value the compliment when it comes from a person that we admire. So it resonates in a different way. When you don't know the person and they are telling you that you're doing something good, you appreciate it. You're grateful, of course. But when you hear it from a person that means a lot to you or that you admire a lot, you're like, okay, now it really hits you like, wow. You notice, like, wow, that means so much to me. It's not necessarily that we don't hear it enough. Maybe we just need to hear it from the right source. And maybe in this case, you are being the right source because you're being so meaningful. Or maybe you are not being the right source for many others, but you're still practicing saying the good things
I
to
really
other
like
people.
that. I really like that.
And
That's
then
very interesting. Bringing up, it's actually essentially giving people their flowers right now in real time. And I've been thinking about this recently with like friends of mine or people who I believe are close to me who you know how we're all online or we're on social media or what have you. And when our friends or people who are close to us, even if they're not close to us, but we just know of them, and we see what they're doing and maybe we give them a heart and stuff. Well, I have been thinking recently about this, like, no, I love this person. No, they get a real comment. And sometimes now I'm like, I'm gonna go even further. I'm gonna screenshot it and send them a whole text. I see you. I see what you're doing there. That's some good stuff, because if they already have 8 billion people hearting, I'm just one of the 8 million. No. First of all, I need you to understand, no, this isn't just a casual scroll and like and love. No, I am really thinking about you, and I see you. And I don't care how many times I tell you, I need you to know, because I'm in relationship with you, or I work directly with you. I see you and I love what you're doing. And I don't care that you hear this 8,000 times a day. I know it's important, because it's important for all of us to
Shawni, this
embrace
is
that.
exactly what you did with me. So I think you've been
Oh,
practicing this
yes.
for a long time. She showed up at one of my trainings in Maryland. She's a jammer and she's super busy with her own programs and doing all kinds of things, and her daughters. And then all of a sudden, she shows up at my B1 training with flowers and a card, and she hugs me and she tells me, I came to the, I'm like, are you going to stay? Are you going to dance with us? And she's like, no, 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 no. I didn't come to promote my jabs or myself. I just came to hug you and to say thank you for what you're doing with the podcast. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm enjoying it. And I was like, you almost made me cry, baby. That was like
Gosh, just the thought of it now,
so
because I'm
meaningful.
just like, we always still need more. And especially as, like, for us ladies, sometimes, it can feel like, we're getting older in our industry. Are we starting to get to a place where we are like aging out? Do people even remember us? Do people, and I'm like, I gotta show all my girls, all my mommies, okay, listen, we all see you, and this is impactful, and what you're doing is so good to the world. You still matter, and you are making a great impact, and don't stop, no matter what's going on. I mean, oh my gosh, like, even just like watching you, Maria, like, take us on the journey. Is that a tear? Oh, y'all are making me emotional. So watching you go through your journey, like during your breakup, and just having human moments, like, you let us, people need to not just see, move on with your life, keep going, girl. No, we're going to have this moment for a minute, just for a minute. We're not going to stay stuck here, but we are human. And for as much as everyone wants us to girl boss up, and to have tough, thick, skin like Teflon, no, you still get to be a human being, and you need to still mourn the things you need to mourn. And, I think we talked about the power of and in the last time we spoke. You can still mourn. You can still go through a catastrophic diagnosis. You can still go through a breakup. You can go through, and you can still feel joy, and you can still celebrate others.
And isn't it so funny that just a month earlier before the breakup, I was with you on conversation in the podcast, laughing and bragging about my relationship.
As
And
you
then
should. As you should. And if you fall in love again and even get married, and continue to talk about that. This isn't a cue to stop living or stop loving. We live, and we live some more, and we get to go through highs, and we get to go through lows, and we get to come back together and create community. Like, there's so much power in and we can just do both. And we can continue to give each other our flowers, especially as women, especially as ladies.
I
Yeah.
believe that
Love
episode
that.
of my
Yeah.
breakup what allowed people to like that episode so much is that somehow I made vulnerability look pretty. Because that was most of the
Or
comments, like,
look beautiful.
wow,
It was
you're going through something tough, yet you talk about it and it doesn't look bad. It doesn't feel bad or shameful when
shame.
you're exactly.
You showed
It's
us
like,
not to hide.
yes.
You showed us not to hide. You didn't disappear from social media for a month or 6 months or a year while you got yourself together and then came out like, wow, I was just taking some time off. I needed some time for myself. You said, no, this is what's happening in real life. Okay. I got this thing going on, and you're going to come to my B1 next weekend. That's what you're going to do.
Maria, I thought you were so brave to share that with everybody. I'm gonna tell you, not only podcasting, but like on your social media, because I follow you, right? And it's like I was just over here. Hopefully, this doesn't come back to haunt. But I remember one day you posted and you said, "I'm gonna put this here to keep myself accountable." I want to cry. Like I'm not gonna go back to that because I do love myself and I deserve better. And I was so yes, like the girl that was a yes moment because so many times people adorn and put makeup on the pain. No, we go through pain and it's ugly. And when you said that you call him and you were crying or screaming, I got it. It's just like so raw, and I appreciate that because a lot of people, especially people in your with your following, it's just like it's all about the facade, the like look at my accomplishments or look at I'm not saying you, but many people like look at my accomplishment and everything is happy and it's
You just
not.
didn't hide. And
Yes,
Yes.
you
all
made
the
us all
high.
remember. You
But you
made
And
us
I
all
told me
remember that
realized
right.
time. You made us
when it
remember the time
happened,
when.
I realized I could just tell everybody I broke up with this guy. Then I don't know, a month later, a year two or two later, I show up with a new partner and looking all gorgeous, like nothing happened, and like hashtag better than ever and blah blah blah. But I was
Never.
like, but going back to your point, Shawni, that we are aging, and it's like, what's the message I want to send? Do I want to send this message that life is beautiful and that's the goal, to always look badass and like everything's going well? Or now the message is to be real, to this is going to happen to everybody, let's have an open conversation. And I was so sure that this was not going to be enjoyable for many people to watch, because we are mirrors for each other. So many followers, I'm sure, were going to be annoyed. Like, why is she sharing so much? Like, sometimes my sister tells me, like, you share way too much. There's no need for that. So it's like it's uncomfortable for some people, but for many others, then we get the gold nuggets in it. We get that yes, it's okay to be open and to show that we're going through a hard time, even on Instagram, because Instagram in particular is the app that you're supposed to look pretty all the time. On Facebook, you can be normal. You can talk about
And I think
vulnerability.
that was a key point, that you were clearly saying that you are not sharing this to asking for somebody to feel, oh, I'm sorry, Maria. Like, it wasn't like that at all. We really, like Kiki said, we felt the raw pain because we kind of knew that what you shared, how much the relationship lasted, and you were grateful for it, and that shatter, and how you went to journeys, and that come back to where I was saying, like, now I change my behavior to share more and thank you, but then keep giving other people. Like, how about you come back to yourself? Sometime you do need to tell yourself, I did okay today. For example, as I'm going to bring you back to the Zumba world now, how many times do you go to class and feel like, wonder, did I do good enough? Did I teach a good enough class? Or that one person was not smiling the whole time and you care that one person the whole time, and you just keep thinking about devalue yourself, that you put effort to prepare to come to show up and share that whole 1 hour to do your best to make it as enjoyable as possible. But we forget to say, hey, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for my body. Thank you for me to allow me to have this thing. How do you say that? And number two, like, as a jammer, because I was jamming before, a lot of in the Zumba world, we think the jammer is perceived as like, wow, jammer, like yes and no. And I say yes and no. Why? Because we craft our things and give it to the Zim member. But how often do I really see how their student reacted to your craft? It's really rare that I receive it coming back. I'm like, sometimes you hear like, oh, my class love it, right? But when I was first time ever, I was tagged to the choreography I did. And then one of the Zim member tagged me, and this is how my class reacted. It wasn't just only seeing her doing amazing job, and the fact that the way she delivered my choreography was not different than mine. And that was fine. I didn't even care. But the fact that I was able to see her shine, and then I was able to see her connecting to the people. And for me, it was just a happy moment that, oh, something I did somehow connected to some people that I never reach out to. But here is a fun part. They don't know me. Your student don't even care where the choreography came from. Like, really, what they really care is like, see me, make me feel better. Then I just realized that, like, I am so hard to criticize, like, did I do enough? Like, so many checklists that I'm trying to do it to serve people. But also I really realized that I need to show my compassion to, like, I did this good. Now I'm ready to do the next thing. Because if I kept telling myself, I did it like maybe 80 or 70% good, but if I only focus on the 30% that I could have done better and just so micro focus on that, I lose the one that I created so good. And I think that's something that also applies to our lives, daily life too. What did I do today? Today, it could be something super simple. My laundry is done. I cook it without going to eat out. Or I chose one thing that I'm like, just some little things that we can apply to your life. I decided to give me also compassion as much as I gave, so that I will have like a little bit of an equal balance to not
Don't you
just
think
give it
that
out and empty myself.
don't you think that sometimes we do need people to remind us of the things that we need to remind ourselves of? Like, for example,
Yes,
when I
I do.
was going through my hard times during the Utah thing after the breakup, then my dog died. And it was because I was with you guys and because I was with Richard. I believe the universe chose Richard to be with me for a whole month through this process because I needed him as my dear friend to lift me up. And yes, we made it into a joke, into the Aqua Zumba tour and the king and queen of Aqua, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, what he was doing was lifting me up the whole time and reminding me of my greatness. Because sometimes you're so focused on what you're going through that you don't remember the other things. So those things were like my nutrition for my soul, reminding myself, oh yes, I did this good. I created this impact, this ripple effect in this other side. And then I can apply what you just said. Like I did this very well. And then like
Right.
fill myself with more love. But we also need people to remind us of these things.
Yes. So that was a thing when my Zim member, like the first time that tagged me in social media and story, I remember I started crying, not because like I did good. It's not like that. It wasn't like that. It was like, I'm doing something impacting people's life. And not only just the class, I'm helping this person to shine and connect. And that the joy was, I'm crying. Already right now. That was something beautiful for me to actually realize that, because I needed that reminder. I don't hear it all the time, and not that I'm expecting to hear it all the time, but when I receive it, I cherish it so much. I'm like, yes, Satomi, remember, you're doing a great thing. And it's okay to have that, like just Shawni was saying, like, you know what, we give them the power, but we also need to remind ourselves, like, you are seen, and that's important so that we can also give out to people. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And to remind ourselves of the little things that are really the huge things. Okay, so Satomi, second remarkable moment.
My second remarkable moment was Ronnie's. He did two, like the long ones. And the reason why it was because it was last year, October. I listened to his first podcast, and the title was talking about his life or death. So first I'm like, oh, this is going to be talking about his experience of his having a cardiac, attack, and then how he's now. But more than that, that was my eye-opening. Like, did he just share so many gold nuggets that I literally have to be like, okay, wait, stop. And then I have to run and get some note and then re-listen to it and starts pause and take notes, pause, take a note, and not take a notes of what he just said, but take a notes like, okay, how am I going to do this? And how am I going to apply to this? Because last October was a time when I had this huge calendar. It's still on my wall of how is my next year, 2025, is going to look like, where I just barely accepted to become a zest and then trying to do the jam session, then trying to live my life and having balance and where is my goals going to be. So I was in tune to that. And I was also in tune to what kind of leader do I want to become? That was something that I was trying to narrow it down. And the podcast that he was sharing, and you were mentioning about how he is in that, like, he strived to be a community leader rather than like social media famous. And he was open about it. I'm like, yeah, I needed that social media thing. I have this background. Many things that he said it, but that was for me appreciated his openness of his struggle, but also he wasn't hiding like, oh, okay, so if you want to do this, this is how I did it. Like, he was open to share. He wasn't like hiding, oh, that's my top secret, I can't tell you. Like, no, nothing like that. He was really open to share his experience, and he's also struggle, and that even though he was given opportunities, sometimes it was taken away from him. Like, so many different things that I was in pause.
What you're saying is that you got more remarkable moments from the second episode about social media than the first one?
Both. The first one was all about his community leader. It's
Okay.
like being a leader. And the way that I saw was in his social media, he doesn't only do a social media reels to his only favorite crew. For example, me and you. When it comes to Akusimba, I'm with you quite a bit, right? And because that's the opportunity that I have. But in his social media, I see so many variety of people because he's just like, I'm just going to dance with you. He doesn't, but stats doesn't matter. Social media famous thing, it doesn't matter. He was just there. So I'm enjoying dance with you. I'm doing this with you, film with me, dance together. And that was for me like, yeah, I like that. I naturally attracted to that. Like, he was so inclusive, and he shows that in when I was a quiet jammer. And it was like in the behind the scene of the jammer conversations, he was not afraid to say, here is the like things that I wanted to go to. What do you guys think of it? Open conversation. And then he's like asking a specific question. What about this? And it was so, for me, it's like, wow, he has this leadership skills that it's not made, it's not created. He just authentically cares so much of that caring. And I was thinking of, for me at that time, like last year around this time, what kind of leader do I want him to become? Because in Utah, we have a fantastic zest in the front. So for me, like, I ain't going to be none of them because I know my strength is completely different. And he was okay with it. That was like the first episode that I still re-listened it again. I'm like, okay, I'm going to revisit how far did I come, or what is something that I can apply more. The second episode that I liked about Ronnie is that was a time when I was burning out of social media. And I just like felt, why am I having to post so many every day? And I was losing the joy of sharing something and creating something before that. And I kept wondering myself, like, why am I not having so much fun creating one? Like, why did I lose it? What was I focusing on? because before that, I feel like I was enjoying every moment. I giggle myself when I posted. I'm that dork. I love what I share. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to share. Did that make sense? So when I didn't want to just share just because, or just because Zim volume came out, I have to quickly change and quickly dance a little 30 minutes, 30 seconds. I have to post it. Like, I didn't want to do that because I wanted to share what I enjoyed, like too honest, truly honest. And that prompt, I had to pause, and I was struggling with this. And he was making the comments like, find a balance in life where social media works for you instead of you working for them. And like, that's it. So I let it happen. I let it like did not even post it sometime for 3 weeks. And for me, I'm still using that social media as networking opportunity. It changed the way I have a relationship with social media. Like, right. And they change it again, become
Wow,
possessed with like
Satomi,
a
this
different
is
world.
so mind blowing. I'm now thinking that this whole episode of Ronnie talking about social media was just made for you, because it makes
It
just
was. It really was.
context for the rest of you. Satomi became a zest in Utah a year ago, a little over a year ago. And yes, everybody, yeah, bravo. So bad. Here's the challenge. Utah has only had zesses that are big stars in the Zumba videos, not just normal zesses. They had Lindsay Taylor and Cas, and they have been all over videos, Wii fitness concerts, you name it. So they got used to having celebrities. Like when you took the B1 training, you received Lindsay on the B1 training initial class. It's like, and now is average Satomi taking over. And imagine how it must feel. It's like, oh wow, she has to really work to impress these people. So, and she's amazing in social media. Like, I am so in awe at how much, thank God you enjoy posting, because like otherwise this will be a nightmare. She posts so much and different things and highlighting different things and funny and serious and promoting. And it's like, whoa, like, how do you have the time to do all of this? So obviously you were going to burn out, and you needed Ronnie to talk to you, because he's been so successful while being so genuine. One amazing thing about Ronnie, and he's, out of all of the guests I've had, the one person that I keep saying I could talk to Ronnie every day for hours and hours and hours. I actually, ever since they gave birth to their second baby a couple of months ago, I was like, whenever you're ready, you let me know, turn the computer on, and we do another podcast. And then he's like, but what
That
do
would be
you want to
wonderful.
talk about? And I said, dude, with you, whatever you want to talk about, like whatever you say, it's so insightful. He may it may appear as if he's just telling you an whatever story, but he's just teaching so much from the way he sees things and he goes through life. And also in the social media episode, he refused at the beginning. When I came up with the idea, he was like, I am not your guy. I am not here to tell anyone how to be successful on social media, because I don't even want to handle it that way. I don't do what you're supposed to do. I do it for different reasons. So I was like, exactly. That's why I need you talking in this episode. And I believe it was made for you, Satomi. This is beautiful. I'm so glad he was there for you.
It truly was. And not only that, it's just like the way he shared his culture in different ways. I'm not talking about his session in Puerto Rican. That is always blowing my mind. But he has a dance background, right? Like that dancer background. And one of the things that people may not realize that the culture is a little bit different than Zumba fitness world. That Zumba fitness is dance fitness, right? I don't know if you remember, Maria, when he came to Zest meeting and share some of the dance session of his session. And then at one moment, I don't know if I'm sure if you say this, so if you need to cut it, you can cut it.
I was not there.
Moment,
I had to leave, so I
there.
missed that part. So tell me.
Okay, so one moment, he shared this kind of parts of 2 sets of 8 movements in the Bat Bunny one. Is so fun. But me, as also have a dance background, I wanted to depth, right? And then he says, okay, I'm not going to too much technical stuff because that's not the whole point. But then when he started saying that, people started chatting. And in the dance world and in a dance class, if you're taking a master class or something that you're receiving a teacher, you're not allowed to talk. Like, no, 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 no. That is not allowed. And I'm starting like, okay, wait, why are we all talking? And I'm going like this because I am used to that culture. So I'm going like this. And then Ronnie get dead silence, super dead silence. And he waited until everybody was coming down, and then waited for probably good 1 minute, and then nobody was coming down. So he's like, hey. And then he's like, literally said, you guys, that was rude. And I'm like, you're right. Because if we do that, well, if I were in a dance class and dance workshop, if we ever talk like that, they will be like, do you see that? That's door. That's the way you need to go. You get kicked out. But instead, he was just sharing just a little bit of that thing, like, hey, that's rude. And not in a way that insulting people, not in a way that insulting anybody. He just wanted to share, like, hey, in this culture, in this moment. And he even said, I admire all this, y'all. What you do is amazing, but here is something different I want you to learn today. And that was a beautiful moment for me. So like for him, for
That
you
is
to like
awesome.
bring in him and he, anything what you talk about for you, what else you talk about it, like, I'm ready for it. Like, please share another things that we can also incorporate in life, and to see also open up our minds that we sometimes we also get tunnel, or we used to all those culture wise. So like, yeah, I'm in this industry for a long time, and we forget when we bring something new, something out of something. We also need to adapt something new and something different, open up to the mindset of,
And for him to be so
something
sure on who he is, that he was like, okay, I'm in a room full of 100 sasses, and no, guys, this is not okay. This is rude. Like, wow. Because obviously, we all go on default setting to, I want to be liked by all of these people. So, wow, pretty awesome. Ha. Shawni, next remarkable moment, baby.
So the other remarkable moment that I recall from a number of the videos, is particularly Ronnie and Mauricio Madel is coming into this business, if you will, having some sort of a business background, some sort of knowledge in how to create and maintain and grow your business. So many instructors come in and they just start and they don't have a clue that no, if you're really trying to make this a thing for yourself, not to say that you're going to leave your job or anything, but you might if you have a business mind and business tools and resources. You have support. Their interviews showed me how important it is to have some type of knowledge in terms of business, being organized and understanding how to keep your fitness business or your Zumba business, if you will, together. It was important because all three of them had that, but they had that because they either studied it themselves, i.e. Ronnie, or they had people around them, maybe through family or through having that kind of support system that allowed them to really focus on their business. And I think that's important. And that's a great takeaway because so many people want to know, oh my gosh, how are you doing this? And how are you able to like you can really like make money doing this kind of thing? And it's like, yes, you can. However, you need to have a solid business plan and you need to have a strong support system, network of people, be it family, community, friends, like the communities that you build around you through your classes and things like that. That stuff has to be consistent. It can't be sometime. It can't be, maybe people will come, maybe not. you're not going to be able to thrive and be successful that way. And it will cause you to get discouraged and maybe even give up and maybe even leave. So having some type of business knowledge and having a support system to give you cushion, be it a help with your children or financial cushion or something that allows you to be organized and focus in your business, is the thing that kind of helps you to keep going and to thrive, because it can grow. It can be amazing. It can be a way that you can just do it full time, but you can't just like jump in and get your B1 and be like, okay, now I'm a Zoom instructor. Let's go. I'm going to do this every day for the rest of my life. I'm like, wait, you need to have a plan and you need to have some support, because you can do it on your own by yourself, maybe, but it's going to be a hard and long road. It's going to be an uphill battle if you don't have certain tools and resources in place
So wait,
to make it.
I'm getting in your head and I'm running into a conflict inside of Shawni's head, because Shawni mentioned remarkable moment number 1, be chilled. Remarkable moment number 2, plan and prepare, which is the opposite of being chilled.
Mhm.
So are we having some kind of conflict?
No, it's the power of and. So what I'm talking about when I say be chill and just kind of, relaxed in it, I'm talking about when you're trying to be discovered. When you're wanting you're doing your thing, right? Just at a basic level. For example, those people out there who are like, I want to be a Zumba jammer, or I want to be a Zest, and they're trying so hard. They're going at it, and it's like, just relax. Be in flow. Do your classes consistently. Create your choreo consistently. Show up for your classes consistently. But you don't got to chase it so hard. Now, once you get the opportunity and it lands in your lap, okay, I am the GJ. I am the Zest now. Now, how do you now keep it? So perhaps for my remarkable moment number 2, in order to maintain the thing, you do kind of now have to have a little bit of a plan, because you do need tools and resources and backing and support so that you can stay consistent. Because I feel like a lot of people will come into this naturally with a lot of joy and excitement and enthusiasm, and they are just doing their thing. And maybe they attract what they want, but then they're like, they don't know how to keep it. And what I'm saying is, in order to keep it, okay, now this is when, yeah, you're going to have to plan something, and you're going to have a little bit of knowledge of some things. And if you don't have that knowledge, you need to have a support system of people around you who do have that knowledge, because they're going to get in your ear and they're going to show you how to do it and show you which way to go so they can elevate you. This is why it's great that, like, for example, Satomi and if you all are spending a lot of time together, you as a leader, someone who's been here in this Zumba world since day one, you are like the perfect tool and the perfect resource. And God, it's beautiful to have an actual authentic relationship and friendship, because now Satomi's in a position where she can learn so much, and she doesn't have to navigate this thing by herself in order to maintain her position as a Zest. She can only go up if she remains open and she listens and she allows herself to be guided by you.
So proximity.
Proximity, yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Okay. What I am getting from your remarkable moments is the lessons in life, right? The clear lessons that we got from certain episodes that gave us the lesson of being chilled, which we need to remind ourselves to be more like that. And then the clear lessons that some other episodes have given us about proximity, have about a community, a system like Madel with her whole family all involved in the business. And it's like, oh, wow, amazing, right? But this is surprising, Shawni, because I thought I knew your most remarkable episode. I thought it was Renee Piquet.
She's number 3 because she's my sister in fitness and in bodybuilding. She's number 3,
Okay.
but you only said 2. So I started with the being in flow so you can attract the thing. Number 2 was, okay, now that you have attracted it, how do you maintain it? You need to have a certain level of knowledge, skill, proximity, and support. And number 3 is you also have to understand and be open to and inflow when you have other opportunities and interests. Since now you're bringing up Renee Pickett, but that was number 3 because she and I share an interest in bodybuilding and competitions. And I loved her story and how she kind of navigated through that. And to see her now going to new levels in that path is like, here we go, the power of and you can find yourself and discover a new space for yourself, and you can be a rock star there too. So
But I also thought that the main part about Renee's episode for you was the fact that it made you want to come back to jamming because you had been kind of on a break.
Yeah. And there's that too. There's that too. Also, one of the reasons because she was on one of the Zen volumes that inspired me to be a jammer. So there's that. But just watching her just kind of navigate into other areas, but to keep going in that, even though she didn't remain a jammer or remain. Wait, did she become a SP?
Yes, she did. And then a master trainer.
She did all the things. But yeah, so watching her, yeah, she did kind of get me back into the swing of things because it was like, okay, make this fun again and just focus on you and focus on what you love and just do the things. Let the things come and just be prepared for the opportunities.
Okay. So it was my assumption because we had just released the episode with Renee and then you came to that B1 training to hug me for the podcast. And then you said, I just listened to Renee's episode and now I want to come back teaching jam sessions because I've been on a break for like a year or something. And then I thought maybe it was me putting 2 and 2 together in my head. I thought it was because I almost made Renee say that if she had the opportunity to come back to Zumba, she would. And I was like, oh, that was the part that maybe helped Shawni to say, no, I don't want to be out. I don't want to, never mind. I want back in.
Yes, that is one of the other parts too in the episode because there was a small little tinge, at least I felt in watching the episode where it was almost kind of like, there was something that maybe she desired that was missing that had it been there, she would have remained. So I don't know what that was, but she would have only discovered it if she would have stayed and just followed, just went through the valley or whatever it was.
Or that maybe if we were allowed to have a break without necessarily making the decision of I'm quitting being the jammer or the zest or whatever, but just go on a break and then come back stronger. I think that maybe that's what she needed.
Maybe. But yeah. So it's funny you brought her up because she was number 3. I was like, all right. So
you're welcome, baby.
In my logical mind, I said, okay, what would we talk about first? All right. We talk about being in flow, attracting the thing. What do we talk about second? We talk about what we need to be knowledgeable of and how we keep our blessings. What do we talk about third? And being open to new things. And that was my new thing. And that her video. So you were right.
Awesome. Thank you, baby. I know you. You needed to talk about Renee. I was like, wait, is she going to miss this chance? Fab, do you have another remarkable moment you want to share?
Yes. Wow, you ladies. I'm just taking it all in. It's interesting that you said you were talking about business too. And, your moment when you were dealing with the loss, your breakup. And it was like, for me, it was like grief and loss and envisioning your future, your new future. And you talked about that book that you were reading with Dr. What was his name again?
Joe Dispenza.
Yeah. So, and holding on to that, your story, and you just tell it over and over. And the more that you would tell, like, for example, it feels weird to think that this related to that episode, but it did because you guys don't know me very well. So I've been a Zumba instructor for 12 years. I had this vision of owning a studio. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to open up a studio. And I did in 2017. During the pandemic, though, I had to close it. And for me, that was, it's still, I said I wasn't going to get emotional, but I got some toilet paper. But for me, it was a big thing because it was like a dream of mine. I just wanted to teach and I wanted to share and I wanted to open this up to everyone. And, I had lots of B1s, people that came to license, like Ricardo came and Corinne at the time and Carlos. And I loved sharing that part of me that, Zumba, what it meant to me and my passion. And I loved sharing it with people. And when that was gone, I felt like, now what do I do? Who am I? What, right?
Identity
It was
crisis.
like an identity crisis. And it was tough. And so for me to just dust off and figure out how am I going to do this? And I continued the connections with the people, my students, because there was a community. And so during the pandemic, even though I couldn't teach and I didn't have access to Wi-Fi. We were in the middle of moving. We were going to build a house. So it was like, I lost connection for a bit. So we did hikes together. And when we were able to be 6 feet apart, I taught Zumba outside. Like I just continued and they're still with me today. I just love my community and I teach now. I rent a church gym. But when coming back to when I was listening to your podcast, it's what we tell ourselves in that cycle. It was almost like, hi, I'm Fab. I used to have a studio, but it didn't work out. And it was like shame. I felt this shame. And it was every time that I would tell somebody my story, I felt that shame and I just couldn't get out of it. I was in this loop for the past few years. Like just, even though I'm teaching and I'm enjoying all this, I had an internal struggle that people didn't know. And that was, I failed at something. Even though it was the pandemic and I had to close, like it was the right time for me, it still feel like I didn't succeed at something. So recreating yourself. And so when you talked about envisioning your future and him and telling your friends that story, it was almost like I made myself a victim and people didn't know what to say. And so people would just say like, oh, I'm sorry that happened. And I didn't want that. It didn't help me. It just continued to add to that victim feel or that, like, I couldn't move on. I was stuck. I even went and talked to somebody because I was like, my family's like, how come every time we talk about the studio, you just start crying and you need to deal with it. And so it was like, I lost something. I was grieving it. And now I feel maybe it was in the pool at convention at your masterclass, but I let go of so much in that pool. Like you were there and I put this together and I stopped telling my story. I didn't introduce myself to anyone at convention about who I was and that I had a studio. And like, I didn't even talk about that. It was just all about me. And it was so beautiful and being there for you. I love being there for other people. I'm always there for others. And I was finally like just there for me. And yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I had to link this.
This is at another level, girl. Because stopping the cycle of the shame or the resenting that keeps us trapped.
What could I have done differently and why, right? Like I used to drive by the studio. Like I couldn't, like the location. I couldn't get past it.
And the duality of you feel shame because you feel that you failed at something. And so you feel the need to talk about it. But when you express it and people say, oh, I'm so sorry, because we're strong, independent women, we don't want anyone to feel sorry about us. So it's like, no, that's not the reaction I wanted. No, thanks. But at the same time, what else can people give us if we are trapped in the victim behavior, right? It's like it makes no sense, but we don't know how to get out of that. So, wow, for you to be able to get out of that cycle, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Everybody,
out. Like I
bravo!
can't. Thank you. So
Did you feel the
like I'm
burst? Like let it go? Like did you feel
yeah,
like
it just
I'm
that's
just
what
curious
happened.
because I feel I had the different scenario, but it was Aqua Zumba and a masterclass in featured. And I had that moment like I can let go. I can finally let
Yeah.
go of something. It was like the church moment.
It was like church. I didn't
And
know
then
what
I'm like
happened.
crying. The people are like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "Just let it happen." And that, like the burst, I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. It was just like the burst of let it go. And I was just curious, Fab. Like, did you?
Yeah.
How did
That's
you
what it
feel
was.
more?
It was a total burst. Like I actually videotaped myself after that masterclass. I should send it to you, Maria.
Yes, please do.
It was just to my friends and some of my students, and I was like, guys, I just experienced something and I don't know what it was, but oh my gosh, we're gonna have an aqua Zumba class. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. Like I wanted everyone to experience what I experienced that day. And yeah, so yeah, it's something that you wouldn't have known, right? I was just in the pool, I was in the moment, and I was just coming home to me and just like letting things finally just go and just letting myself just go.
The water literally
The
healed you.
water. Yeah, the water. I mean, we're surrounded by rivers and lakes here. I swim in cold water. Like I love being out in the water. We may not have that many swimming pools, but I love that, but there was something about being there with the people, with you, seeing your connection. Satomi, you were up there. Like it was just, there was so much connection and so much love and positivity there. Like it was just, I mean, I got there and people were handing me, I forgot sunscreen. They were handing me sunscreen. I just felt like, whoa, this is my first masterclass and I feel like I'm part of you guys. I felt a
Tommy,
sense of
this is gonna
belonging.
be our commercial for Aqua Zumba from now on. We're just gonna share Fab's story, and everybody's gonna come to heal in life.
Baptize us.
In Aqua, yes,
So
But
beautiful.
I can relate. I really can relate to that because a few years ago that I had not spoken to anybody, but like probably like 5 people that are non-Zumba people that I carry through something, then I felt stuck. I totally understand that. And when you feel like a burst and finally let go, and I remember I couldn't even talk to Richard. I'm like, Richard's like, I know you're crying. Like, I'm so not good at words. So I know how you felt like, I have to say this something to your people, but I'm just so glad that you felt that burst and experience. And by having that some connection with this podcast and just lead it to that
Leading it.
experience. But I thought I was the one like, I'm so weird. Like, it's just the Aqua Zumba. It's just a pool.
it only happens in Aqua Zumba.
No,
So, guys, no, because the main thing is like the letting go of an old identity. So, Fab's identity was tied to being a studio owner, a community leader. And now she had to let go to that identity, same as my relationship was my identity. And I needed to let go of that. And it's not easy. So it's like it's letting go while at the same time, I believe this is what you were trying to say, Fab, they envisioning your future, letting this go with the certainty that you have your vision for the future, for another identity that is going to be as fulfilling, that it doesn't have to be the same way, that the universe can show you many other different ways, but that identity is there and that you're in the process of creating it and making it happen. And that's what allows you to let go of the past. Wow.
it's letting go of the past. Yeah, it is. It's letting, and it's hard. It's hard letting go of the past. But
Yes,
yeah,
it is. And especially because we human beings, and even in the animal kingdom, it's all about status. We have that in our DNA. We're looking for status. So like for us being a zest, being a jammer, being a community leader, being a studio owner, and then you're the one who's hosting the jammers and the zests, all of that gives you status. And we're so attached to this status that it's so hard to let go of that and embrace another identity that has nothing to do with status, but is an identity that's going to help you to continue to go for the second 50 years of our life.
Yeah. And you learn so much from those things, right? You learn so that just like you, right? You know now into your other relationship, maybe that there's things that, oh, okay, yeah, maybe that's what I need to do or what, like you learn with everything. And so I think it was, I think Medell talked about like with every hardship or something, I've got it here somewhere, but with every hardship, you learn something and then you can continue, right?
Oh, Madeo talked about so much. Yes, Kiki,
There
go.
was a lot. Yeah.
I was just going to say that it is, well, I do teach aqua. Right now it's more aqua fit that, but it's a funny thing. At some point years ago, Richard made like a raffle and somebody tagged me and I won the raffle. So I traveled. I was living in Rhode Island, which is the state over, and to New York because I won the aqua Zumba training. I'm like, what?
Wait. You were not even interested and you
No,
had to take it because
I
you
just
won
didn't
it?
know. The money was tight, so I just wasn't going to take the training because just this week I celebrated my 13th year anniversary as a sin. But this is like 2018, I think, when somebody ta- somebody tagged me and a raffle that Richard was going to have, and he was little fishing with some little thingy with his I think they were not married yet, that Danielle, the and oops, he pulls out my name because the other person tagged me on it. And here I am winning. And say, yes, I'm going to New York and I'm gonna be trained by Richard nonetheless. And I could bring
See,
a
without
bestie
even
because it was
trying.
so that it was wow. I was like, what? I take it. Of course, I'm from Puerto Rico, so at age 5, my father put me in gymnastics. So I didn't kill myself jumping over furniture. So I made it all the way to the junior national team back in the day. But then when I transitioned off gymnastics, I went into swimming and playing water polo and many other things. But I was still with my boys in the house before they just, aged out and they move out. So I wasn't spending more money on more Zumba specialty. So it fell on my lap. I totally loved it. But I have to say, my second moment came from Richard. Seriously, and like Ronnie all the time. Because Richard say, how hard could it be? So I learned from that I have played. None of you know me because I don't post anything on social media in terms of Kiki's doing videos and all that. So I think I played since 2012 when I started Zumba. I've been in a small places, being very successful, but you will never know because I wasn't trying to be discovered by anybody because I always like, it takes so much to post videos, to create content and be liked and this and that. And and that's one thing that I like about Richard when he say, "How hard could it be just coming out of your shell and try something else?" Like he's been well known for he's Aquaman, and now he's on Strong, and how he walk us through all the self insecurities that he had, and it's like Richard, really? How he could be insecure about anything? It's Richard. And I love that episode because he put himself out there and being a big person in Aqua. Now he's the smallest person in Strong because he's a newbie. That I love that humility of him, like placing himself again, like I'm going to learn, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, everybody's rehearsing maybe 20 minutes, but I'm going to rehearse 3 hours in between my Aqua commitments. And that's very commendable. Putting yourself like it's also rebranding yourself or a big and that's beautiful. And a little bit tied up into that is I think Satomi said it like and Fab Ronnie, after he came back after his life-changing health care that had us all the first time I went back into one of his jams in person, he came to Boston or jam session or masterclass. He did not want people feeling sorry for him. he made that very clear. He did not want, and I relate to that. He did not want for his story to be the person who overcame a heart attack. It came from basically flatline, right? And I resonated with that a lot in a very personal way because I left, I was in a relationship with a person who abused me very badly, emotionally and verbally. And that's my kid's father. So for me to, when I feel a lot and did all my homework and went on all this therapy and all this stuff that I did, even feeling like my title myself is not like the victim of this and that. I wanted to be known as the overcomer. Like I overcame this, and this is my new reality, and this is a better and more powerful title or rebranding than, oh yes, I suffered from these, call it domestic violence or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a very positive and a lot lighter title to wear. Like I'm this strong person because I decided to overcome bad situations, and I don't want you to feel sorry about it. So people don't need to come to me, oh, I am very sorry. Like, yeah, back in the day, well, I might have needed that, but right now I take more pride in saying this is all the rest of my life, at the big and that I done with the rest of my life. I became a stronger person because of what happened before. Not like I wish, for anybody to go through pain and suffering, but whatever, if I, like that's what I went through. So I like those stories where a person rebrand for whatever reason, because a personal reason, a health scare, because somebody saw in you this opportunity to give you another title, somehow not related to somebody, whatever it is, that you can rebrand and you retitle yourself, and then you have your own self-worth attached to actually yourself, not to other brands. And I think that ties up with Renee. Renee said many times, you are your own brand. And that resonated with me. You need to create yourself. You are the brand. You are the brand. And I think it's not from a cocky perspective, but that you need to sit on your power and then know your talents, know your gifts, and use your opportunities. And, and try to be very, very secure about yourself to go after what you want to be. And in that sense, you become the brand. Of course, you need those connections. I mean, I'm not going to be so naive. Oh, you don't need a big company. No, yes, that helps and a lot. And the connections, of course, that does help a lot. But it also helps a lot when you're secure about your talents and what you bring and what you can share with other people. I think all these big biographies, if I wrap it up in one, is like they all sit on their power. They have found that through struggles, different struggles, when you stay true to yourself, authenticity, you cannot fake that. You can take all the trainings you want, but you need to live experiences that make you realize that your strength individually, it's it lies within you knowing your self-worth and your power. We all were meant to do beautiful things, but Maria's stories is not going to be my story. Satomi's story is not going to be Kiki's story. Shonita's story is not going to be mine either, right? So, and we can all be examples of strength and powerful, in this case, women, without having to copy the story of somebody else. And I think all these biographies have let me think really hard on there's many ways to be glorious and powerful.
Thank you for all of this recap. I want to clarify that Richard, I think he's the one that has been the most invited to my podcast because he's my dear friend. So I don't even consider him as part of my list of top 10 because he's just my friend. So he's like, I have these conversations with him all the time. So I cannot put him on this list. So I'm sorry, Richard, you're not going to be my number one, but because you are my number one already, so I cannot just use this precious time to talk about you. But yes, I admire the fact that he he has put his ego through the test by studying on something that he's not going to start being the glorious Richard that he's used to doing it. I think that is a huge lesson for all of us, and I believe it has been one of the biggest takeaways for everybody. I've received a lot of comments on that. And also, Ronnie, how one thing is for you not to share your personal struggles because you don't want to be branded as that. And another thing is that everybody knows your struggles because everybody knows what happened to him. And then having to like not fall for it. It's like, it's always going to be there, but then trying to, no, let's shift, because he cannot tell people not to feel this or that through the experience he went through with the cardiac arrest. But it's like, okay, no, let's just shift that energy and attention towards this other thing. That is harder to do. And you also mentioned vulnerability. I've come to the conclusion, is my personal opinion, that there's no such thing as authenticity. We all try to be so authentic, and it's just impossible to be. But because we all have an agenda. It's impossible not to have an agenda. We're human beings. We have an agenda. And even me sharing my breakup because I needed to keep myself accountable, that was my agenda. That I needed to keep myself accountable. There was still a purpose, even though I was sharing something very authentically and it was very raw, but we all have an agenda. So I just want to say that the most impressive person I've had in the podcast regarding not having an agenda, zero agenda, Maria Teresa Stone. The way she shared everything in her episode, nothing was leading to anything. I was like mind blowing. It took me a couple of weeks for me to like digest this woman, how she just talked, but it was not, because you can kind of see the agenda behind the narrative. You're saying this because you want to tie it to this, and then it comes to this, and then we all have a narrative as human beings. It's just so hard to not have it. I have it myself. I see it in me all the time. So to see Maria Teresa having zero agenda, I am like, you are at another level. I don't know how you function in life like this, and like not being contaminated by the social rules. She has not fallen into, I have to do this because society tells me to do this and that, and it's at another level. That was my takeaway from Maria Teresa's. Is very mind-blowing. If you guys want to mention before we wrap up any other special episode that you would like to share, like I just shared 3 different episodes very quickly.
One thing though, Maria, I also this was my third, so I was thinking like maybe I should hold on to it until next one. But I'll really quick. You share one of the episode was your hormone replacement therapy, and it have evolved and changed. But the time when you share that one, that was a time that I was thinking about. Like we were in the earlier episode, you kind of focused on a woman in 40s and aging and beautiful things and health, and your podcast like your is all about health beyond, right? Beyond. So that got me to curiosity, so I went to my healthcare and I have my health condition was I had an IUD in order for me to prevent to have a severe endometriosis. I have had surgery twice in my life, and this still come back. It was so severe, so I had to have it. And then your podcast or the hormone replacement therapy really got me to be like, wait, when is the last time I really checked it? Shame on me. I know people's gonna be like, but I had to go and replace my IUD. But I was thinking, okay, this is going to help me. And it didn't. And so you got me to curious. I'm like, okay, that was not it. So I started to be curious about my health, a whole lot more in tune to it. Then I am now on a different health HRT. But in that process, if I didn't listen to that, I could have gone to a different level where I wasn't really focused on my health so much, because like I'm okay as long as I don't feel the pain. That's not the whole
Satomi,
thing.
can you please share with the girls what you ended up discovering that was happening to
So
you? 'Cause
what?
This is
Yes.
like, it only happens to Satomi.
So what happened
Insane.
is when they tried to replace my IUD, they first broke the IUD that was there. So they were trying to take it out. And then I had like 2 or 3 professional like doctors come in and ask me, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know how you want me to answer. How are you doing?" Like, you you're seeing everything down there and you ask me how am I doing? I don't know. So, short story, they finally found some piece of it. Then they were trying to replace it and it ended up going poke through my uterus
Oh my.
and attached to my I know, attached to my different organ, but I didn't know that until Zincon was over last year. Zincon was over, and when we went to 3 months checkup, they couldn't find it. And then I was listening to like, you need to be really in tune to it. You need to do the blood test, all the Maria's episode. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start investing in it more because I like something is off, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And after I listened to it, I was specifically asking specific different blood tests instead of just a normal one. Because if you just go to the annual exam, they'll be like, "Oh, you're fine," and I was fine until that 3 months checkup. They can like, we couldn't find it. Did you feel like it come off? I'm like, no. So I had to go through X-ray, and they couldn't find it. So they sent me to the MRI, and then like, oh, it's completely out of your place. So come to this past April. It took me that long to find it. And then we have to do I had to do the surgery to take it
Where
all out.
was it? Where exactly was it?
Yeah.
It was hanging on to my intestine instead. Like it poked through it outside of my ear.
Intestines. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I know.
I know we're
But
only
if I
pain.
was
We're like,
I know, yeah, I know. But if I was not thinking of something is off and you need to invest in that episode, like you really need to be in tune to it for you. That was my key point because I wasn't. I was like, as long as I don't feel the pain, I'm going to keep going because my life is busy. I'm going to keep going. That was not it. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I was nervous about it. But for me, I had that 15 years of pain that I was holding on to that pain killer, aka IUD. Now I don't have it in the last 3 months. I'm knocking on the wood right now. I am back to having the flow of every monthly. I don't know if it's too much for people. I'm sorry. But the last 3 months, like 3 times when I have my cycle came back, I have not experienced the pain. It's crazy to think that I had not have a pain and I'm going, is this normal? And I guess it is normal, but I'm so grateful for that openness that you share. Like you need to be in tune to your body changes and it's okay
and thank you
to talk
so
about
much for
it.
sharing this with me. That I inspired that curiosity for your health, because I've been so close to taking that episode down. Because in that episode, I was sharing, I was very excited that I had just gotten the pellets. But then the pellet didn't go well because the crash of the pellet was horrible for me. So I will never do the pellet again. So I keep thinking that maybe that episode is sending the wrong message for people to go get the pellet. And if they don't listen to the continuation, the other episode months later, in which I say, never mind, it didn't work, that they are going to make a mistake. But now I see that it's not that people are going to go do exactly what I did, but that is inspiring people to have their own curiosity, because sometimes we neglect our health is because it's so hard to think about it. It's overwhelming. You prefer not to find out if anything's wrong. So thank you for sharing this with me.
Wow.
And I am glad that you're doing much better with this situation, because it's insane to have IUD on your intestines. It's
Oh my.
which kind of doctor put it on you?
Oh, I know. My doctor was like, we were still having to bring this whole 360 like X-ray in your table because we still couldn't figure it out. And that was like, what? It's insane story that happens. But again, it's not that Maria was suggesting you need to go to get the pellet or anything. That was, you were clearly saying that this was working for me. And later on, you mentioned that, never mind, that didn't work. My first instinct was, oh, when did I check myself? When did I became into myself? Because at the end of the day, we only got this one body, right? We really do need to be gentle and be genuine and be kind and take care of it, which we think that we do, but most of us we neglect one part. And so I am
No,
trying
and
to be better
your
at it.
journey is mind blowing because now after 15 years, you're having to rediscover who you really are, hormonally speaking, because now the real hormones in Satomi's body are taking over. So they are giving you kind of like a different sense of personality. So this is like, wow, we depend so much on our hormones. But that's for a whole other episode. But thank you for sharing. I want to do this once a month. Hopefully we will catch up. This is like a lot of 40 episodes to comprise, but then hopefully it will be just that once a month we just talk about the 3 or 4 episodes in the previous month, and then it will be easier to handle. I promise. That's my vision. If this works, if I can work out the editing and it looks appropriately, but I loved it. Girls, thank you so much for your precious time, for your insights, for connecting with me after every time you listen to a podcast and letting me know that you appreciate it, and for keeping my motivation up for me to continue to do this. It is thanks to you guys that I continue to do it, because if I don't hear from anyone, I will be like, okay, then I guess I won't do it. So thank you so much, because you guys keep me going with this, and you're a blessing to my life. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.